Hey everybody. I was just wanting to share a few thoughts with you all this evening before I go to bed. I was reading Matthew chapter 16, and Jesus had just finished feeding the 5,000 and they were traveling back to another town, and he began to ask his disciples some questions. And I was thinking how cool that must have been to walk with Jesus and to witness his miracles, like right there. You got to see it and see him lay hands on the sick and raise Lazarus from the dead. But in chapter 16, they get back to town, and Jesus asked them, hey, I mean, I kind of hear the conversation in my head sometimes on how it may have gone, but not to add to or take away. He said, who are people saying that I am? Who do people think that I am? And they began to share with him a few things that they have heard. Well, some say that you might be Elijah. Some say a prophet risen from the dead, or Jeremiah. And he asked them finally, but who do you say that I am? And Peter spoke up and he said, you're Christ. You're the Son of the living God. And he said, Peter, you would only know that because of my Father revealing it to you. And on this rock, I'm going to build my church. But that personal question also had me thinking, who do you say that I am? It reminded me of a time that it was just a few weeks ago. A young man came into IHOP. Some of us from church were there. It was on a Wednesday night, and we were there having dinner after our service. And he came by to our table asking for money. And I think he was selling candy. And he had a dirty, wrinkled shirt, and which is okay. But then I had I guess a check in my spirit, and I didn't recognize the youth group name on his shirt. So I began to ask him questions. I said, so what is your testimony? He struggled a little bit, and he shared with us some thoughts. And that's when I finally got personal with him, like Jesus did with his disciples. And I said, well, who do you say that Jesus is? Who is he? And he said, well, and again, he gave me some things that sounded pretty legit, and but then we got to the nitty gritty, and I said, well, tell me, do you believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross, rose from the dead 3 days later, and he ascended into heaven to the right hand of the Father? And this is when, the truth was revealed. He said he believed that Jesus' spirit did, but not his body, and some other things too. But I began to share with him some other scriptures that defeated some other thoughts that he had. And I shared with him, John, where it says, in the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and that nobody gets to the Father except through Jesus. And he himself said that. And come to find out, he was a Mooney. I forgot how I got that information, but we saw them all leave and get in a van afterwards, and it was an out-of-state license plate. So I told him, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you any money, but I will pray for you. And I had offered him salvation, to pray with him for salvation, and he said that he believed that he was saved. And that's all I could do. But it just, again, it reminded me of Jesus asking, that story, who do you say that I am? And that's my question for you all tonight. Who do you say that Jesus is? If you can't say that he is your personal Savior, then maybe he is just what other people are saying. Who do you say that Jesus is? Night, y'all. God bless you.